Hey y'all, welcome back to Neuroscience. We are going to talk about types of neurons today. We just got done talking about their anatomy. So this is a pretty quick and dirty little overview of the different types of neurons. So neurons can be classified by their structure. Okay, so you can have a bipolar neuron. Basically the structure refers to the amount of projections coming off of the cell body. Okay, so you can have a bipolar neuron. Lots of interneurons are bipolar neurons. So you can see that the axon is projecting off of two areas of the cell body. You can have a unipolar neuron. These are usually sensory neurons. So here's your cell body, and you've got one projection here, and your dendrites and terminal buttons down here are sort of on this axon away from the cell body. You can have multipolar neurons, which they can be motor neurons a lot of the time. Motoneuron is another word for motor neurons. So there's multiple processes coming off of this, right? There's multiple points where the dendrites are attaching themselves to the cell body. And then you can have these pyramidal cells where you've got these multiple processes coming off of the cell body that then branch into other processes as well. So neurons can also be classified by function. Okay, the first function they can take is sensory. So sensory, another word for which is afferent. Afferent nerves carry information from outside the world to the brain via the spinal cord. So here is a layer of skin. You've got a pin, right? You're being pricked by a pin. Sensory receptor is bringing in this information. This is the cell body. So if you remember sensory neuron, here's a cell body and the axon, like there's one process coming off of it. Now check out this picture. Here's your cell body, one process coming off of it because it's a sensory neuron, bringing information in to this area of the spinal column, right? So there are this is the dorsal horn, this is the anterior horn, lots of different areas. Sorry, not lots of, there are specific areas wherein the sensory nerves enter the spinal cord, and then there are areas where motor neurons carry information out to the muscles. And those are efferent nerves. Okay, so you've got afferent and efferent. You think of afferent as relating to affect, right, as relating to sensation. And you can think of efferent as relating to being effective. So your motor neurons affect upon your muscles and make them move, right? They affect your muscles. All right, okay. I know affect and effect are difficult. So you could also think of like motor, efferent, exit. Okay, you can also have interneurons. So sensory neurons bring stuff in, motor neurons take stuff out, interneurons help other neurons associate with one another, communicate with one another. Okay, so these are connectors. And this is a synapse between an interneuron and a Purkinje cell. You'll see a drawing of a Purkinje cell in just a minute. But these Purkinje cells are massive, have massive amounts of branches. And then this green here, all interlaced, that's an interneuron, okay? And it's probably helping this Purkinje cell communicate with other areas of the brain. All right. Here's a drawing of Purkinje cell. And this is actually a drawing by our friend Cajal. Remember, he's the one that perfected the Golgi stain so that we could better see the structure of neurons. So this is a very complicated cell, right? And Purkinje cells only happen in the cerebellum, right? So neurons can also be classified not just by structure, not just by function, but they can also be classified by location. So when you're in the cerebellum and you see stuff like this, you say, oh, it's a Purkinje cell, okay? When you are in the cerebral cortex, the amygdala, the hippocampus, and you see cells like this, oh, these are pyramidal cells, right? They kind of look like pyramidal cells. When you're in the retina, you'll find bipolar cells. Yeah, that's really one of the only places you find them. These are some of the other kinds of cells, not all of them. This is by far not an exhaustive list of cell types by location. So this is kind of giving you an idea of all the different kinds of neurons that you can have. Most of them are kind of named after the person that discovered the different type of cell. So, right, that's just, there's a wealth of different neurons doing a wealth of different tasks in your brain, thankfully. So, I will see you in the next lecture. I told you this one would be super short. The next lecture is where we start talking about signal transmission, I believe. So I will see you there.